Tampa, Florida, next on our Others line.
Oh, man. Thank goodness. It's a good thing that finally in the last couple of days, C-SPAN has made it so that we get to see some of the other candidates other than the jackass in the past. I'm kind of interested, being from Florida. You are on the ticket down here, and I'm kind of thinking as an independent voter and an independent thinker that you're going to wind up getting my vote. Where those people that are very upset and freaked out that Obama may be sitting around and hanging out with some radicals or having some guy in the church that's spouting all kinds of nonsense. I worry that John McCain was brainwashed with his 5 years in the Hanoi Hilton. He's going to be the Manchurian candidate.
Florida, I'm going to let Mr. Baldwin respond.
Well, I think there has been some serious concern about John McCain's temper. I've read some reports of some fellow POWs and others who apparently know John McCain quite well that are concerned that because of his explosive temper, they wonder if that would pose a risk to our country if he were indeed the Commander-in-Chief and President of the United States. I would have to defer to those who know him better than I do to speculate on that. But I think that the question is a matter of policy. When you look at both John McCain and Barack Obama, you see two peas in a pod, or as Pat Buchanan said, what we've got today on Capitol Hill in Washington is not two parties but two wings of the same bird of prey. And I think when you look at John McCain and Barack Obama especially, you see that this merger of ideas, this merger of concepts has almost come full circle. Now it's to the point that if people really do want to vote for change in 2008, they're going to have to vote for a third party. Because if they vote for either one of these two major party candidates, nothing is going to change in Washington, D.C.
We have an emailer, Mr. Baldwin, who writes, Chuck Baldwin will not be on the ballot in Pennsylvania. Will our vote count for him if we write him in? Will the electors who the party selected for him be eligible? This is from a Pennsylvania emailer.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would be, because we are, as the writer said, on the ballot in a write-in, and there's a few other selected states that's true. So certainly that vote will count. And yes, it is unfortunate that we're not on the ballot in Pennsylvania, and there's a few other states that would likewise, we would like to have been on the ballot. Again, it goes back to what I said a moment ago, that it's so difficult for third parties to get on the ballot in all 50 states because of the system that the two major parties have manipulated over the years to strangle out any competition from the third parties. You know, it's amazing. Here we are in Iraq, and the last time I checked, there were like 20 different parties in Iraq vying for the political process over there. And our government is supporting all of those parties, encouraging all those parties to get involved in the political process in Iraq to reestablish quote-unquote democracy. But then you come back to the United States of America, and if you're not a Republican or a Democrat, then you're not an American citizen as far as they're concerned. You don't have the right to participate in the electoral process if you're not a Democrat or Republican. It is really an abysmal affront upon liberty in this country. And when the American people, I think, finally awaken to what's going on, I believe they're going to change this. And I really believe that we are close to electing some serious independent candidates nationally in this country.
St. Petersburg, Florida, on our McCain line. Hey there.
Hi, thank you to C-SPAN. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin, for coming on. I recently replaced my McCain sign with a Chuck Baldwin sign on my front yard. I want to ask you, please, after the presidential election, good luck. I hope you make progress. But my sense is we really need to work at the local level. Are you going to be willing and able to work at the local level to build local candidates from third parties so we can work from the grassroots? And then I just have one other comment. I went and read the creature from Jekyll Island, William Griffin's book, exposing the fraud that is the Federal Reserve. And you're absolutely right. It must be abolished, and I would really commend everyone to read it. It was what motivated me to remove my McCain sign when he supported yet another bailout. But talk about local candidates, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are very involved in trying to elect local candidates. In fact, right here in Florida, we have at least a handful of mayors that are members of the Constitution Party. We elected a state representative in Montana a couple of years ago, Rick Jor, who now is in the Montana legislature, Constitution Party member. We have candidates on the local ballots in most of the states, if not all the states, state offices, local offices, county offices. So we have Constitution Party people that are running across America for various state and local offices. Obviously, it's all about breaking through the matrix. It's all about getting our name and our ballot on the various states and in the local areas. We're doing that. And again, I would talk to if I named him, everybody in the audience would know him. He hosts a program on one of the major networks. And we were talking in private not too many months ago, and he said, Chuck, I really believe that America will elect an independent candidate for president by the year 2012. Now, that was his prediction. I would like to think it would be 2008. But I really believe that we are going to begin electing national and state and local independents to office here in the very near future. I mean, all the polling data is there, that people are fed up with the Democrats. They're fed up with the Republicans. They look at these two parties and they recognize that they're both leading us in the same direction, that there is no real substantive change. And I really believe that the independents, sooner than later, I think, are going to break through this stranglehold.
Mr. Baldwin, I want to point out, CQ Weekly writes about independents in this week's edition. Bad year for also-rans is the title of the article. For third parties, it's a flyer by the elevator. They write about Ross Perot's 19% in 1992, and no independent candidate since then has been able to match that. Why have the numbers not only gone down, but been nowhere near that size for independent candidates?
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons is because the mainstream media nationally refuses to give third-party candidates recognition. They refuse to cover our events. They don't give us time in front of the talk shows. You haven't seen us for the most part with any substantive time on the networks. And I believe this is deliberate. I really believe that the same basic cabal that is supporting these two parties is also supporting the networks. And I think that they purposely want to keep debate at a minimum. They don't want us to raise the issues that I've raised already on this program. They don't want us to talk about the United Nations. They don't want us to talk about the Federal Reserve. They don't want us to talk about the New World Order, the creation of this trilateral government between the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and NAFTA superhighway coming up through Mexico into the United States. They don't want us to deal with these issues. I really believe that there is a concerted attempt to keep out third-party candidates so that they can limit the discussion. And absent the media coverage, many people don't even know that we exist. So it's a circle. They say, well, you don't have enough popularity in order to justify your time on the stage, and yet because they refuse to cover us and the American people don't hear our ideas, we can't be accepted. I'm not opposed to whether the American people reject our ideas. If the American people don't want to listen to the ideas that we present after they've heard it, and they reject those ideas, so be it. This is America. I can live with that. But what is very distasteful and should be very disheartening to all the American people is the fact that we're not allowed to enter the debate. The matter that our speech, our ideas, our vision for America, our insistence that we should return to constitutional government, to the vision of the Founding Fathers, that those ideas are not even allowed play in the modern debate. That is what is so disconcerting.